Ladies and gentlemen, we're starting off with straight away into quadratic expansion. Quadratic expansion simply means, if you look at the red line, we call this the claw method. Okay, what does that mean? Because what you're doing here, instead of this is very similar to a linear expansion where each term has to multiply by every other term in the other bracket. It's just that you've got two terms now. So the second term has also got to multiply each term individually. Then you list them out, simplify them. Okay, so if I do this one, so x times x would be x squared. Okay, so first example. Plus x times positive 1, it's x. Plus 3 times x, plus 3x, plus 3 times plus 1 is this. You simplify the following. Look, there is no trick to quadratic expansion or any other algebra stuff. You just have to do a lot of them. There is no shortcuts. There is no last minute cheat sheet or last minute preparation. None of the last minute stuff will ever work, at least in your lifetime. X squared, there's no other term, x squared. X plus 3x equals to 4x plus 3. Now, you may have heard I literally describe each term with a plus. Verbally, explicitly. By doing so, it forces you to think of, you also incorporate their signs. Now, if this is too difficult, let's do a bit of an area method. This is called an area method. You simply do it, you partition them into however many boxes as the term. Think of that as the length, think of that as the width. Okay, so length, x plus 3. Now, if it's a negative, you need to show a negative sign. X and 1. Okay, well, how do you find the area of each individual box? You do length times width. Now, if you don't know that the area of a rectangle is length by width, then we've got a bit of a problem. So x times x is x squared. 3 times x is 3x. X times 1, that's x. 1 times 3 is 3. And of course, you write them out. X squared plus 3x plus x plus 3. And the final answer, you add up the like terms. Basically, you have x squared plus 4x plus 3. Both of them look exactly the same. Okay, so this is the area method. All right, there isn't really that much to this. Now, I'm looking at the examples I'm working through. Pretty much every single example follows this particular stream. Okay, now there are a couple of other examples that you may come across. Let's do example 2. Example 2 is something called a perfect square. Now, perfect square, as opposed to a traditional quadratic expansion, perfect square has only one pair of bracket, but they look exactly the same. Okay, and so if you go ahead with the area method, that you will see a little pattern, but nonetheless, the actual expansion has 0 is exactly the same. But x negative 4, x negative 4, it doesn't matter which side you put it on. X is x squared. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. Negative 4 times x, negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Now, there's a reason why, as I said, I'm using all of the signs. Well, let's add them together. Even from the visual diagram itself, you can see. Okay, so what do we got here? X squared is x squared. Negative 4x squared plus negative 4x squared means it's negative 8x plus 16. All right, so that's your expansion. But there is a little trick that, if you care to apply with algebra, if your bracket kind of looks like this, then the trick is, the easiest trick you can go is if you expand that looks like this. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, what does that mean? If you want to skip the entire process of this, go straight here, have a look at this. Follow this particular rule. That's what algebra is for. Algebra makes life easier, much easier. You just follow a rule, such as life. Follow set rules, you're not going to have a problem. Square the first term, right? So in the expanded form, the first term is the first of the bracket terms squared. The third term is the square of that particular term here. Look at like negative 4 all squared is positive 16. Now when I say negative 4 squared, I don't mean negative 4 squared. That equals to negative 16. Wrong. When I say negative 4 squared, I mean this. If you put this on the calculator, you should get 16. It means the whole term squared. And that's where some of the mistakes I've seen in the test that sort of happened. Okay, so negative a squared minus 2ab. Now, how do you understand this term? The middle term is twice of the product of a and b, right? X times negative 4 times 2 does not give you negative 8. Okay, like same thing here. Okay, and so if you have a situation where it's a plus b, well then the answer will be very similar. So it's a squared, the last term is b squared because it's a plus anyways. The middle term is 2ab. So for example, if I have x plus 3 all squared, you should get x squared. I don't know what the middle term is, but it's a plus. Leave it blank for a bit. The last term should be 9. Well, 2ab, 2 times x times positive 3. That sounds like 6x, okay? Put this in your calculator, have a look, have a go on this one here. All right, so moving on to the third little thing, and that is called a difference of perfect square. So this thing here is called perfect square, okay? This thing here is called perfect square. My third example here is called the difference of perfect square, also known as DOPS. Okay, so what does that mean? That's when if you have a situation where it's like almost like an alternating example. So for instance, if it's if you have 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. What do we have here? Well, the rule suggests that if it's this situation, your final result will be a squared minus b squared. Okay? And that means your final term would be a squared is 2x squared minus b term, which is 1 squared, which you get 4x squared minus 1. Okay, don't worry about the negative sign here. It's just minus whatever that term is, regardless what sign is it. You have to have a plus and a minus. If you have two minuses here, or like you have some other numbers, it's like it's not going to work. Okay, you simply that. If you're not if you're still not sure about this, put it in a like an area method here. So it's 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. Let's put them through. 2x times 2x is 4x. 1 times 2x is 2x. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. And so if you combine them together, 2x plus negative 2x simplified. All you have here is 4x squared minus 1. Okay? That's about it. My next video is going to be showing the CAS calculator strokes, which is more or less similar than what you've done before. See you soon.